Hear me? I see 9 people waiting. One of them's me because I'm in the chat too. It's a different account. Hopefully this thing is working because it's not working on my other screen yet. Hey, look, Full of Hope is in the house and staying awake. Do you need some coffee? I got coffee. This is like my 3rd cup of coffee today. I'm going to be talking fast. Full of Hope always tells me that I talk really fast in my videos, and I tell her it's because I drink about 4 cups of coffee beforehand. So, yeah, that'd be why. I try not to talk so fast. I will. Hope you guys can hear me okay. I got comments over there and over here, and it's kind of weird. Awesome. Thank you. Oh, I'm doing pretty good today. I've had, like I said, a lot of coffee. Prepper nerds in the house. Homegrown homesteaders. Does that mean you're homegrown, or does that mean you grow things at home? I gotta know. I do have the external mic plugged in, and I've said it before, that microphone picks up everything. So if you're hearing a lot of background noise, it is extremely windy today. It is a lot less windy than it was earlier, but there's loose tin and stuff outside, and it's loud, so yeah. Grumpy Prepper, glad to see you. I still ain't figured out why you're so grumpy, though. I really haven't. Prepared Texan. What part of Texas are you in? See, I used to live in the Lufkin, Nacogdoches area. Actually, both the towns. I lived in both of them. Hello from Georgia. I bet the weather's warmer in Georgia today because I am experiencing what our lows are going to be in the 20s, 20 degree Fahrenheit tonight. So that's going to be interesting. It's the coldest of the year. West Virginia Prepared Mind. I think WV means West Virginia. I hope that's right. South Dakota. Yeah, I bet it's cold up in South Dakota. Hey, Homestead Oss is in the house. This got to be really, it's like, what, 9 a.m. for you guys over there, right? Yeah, it's got to be really early. I hope you have some coffee. It's getting late here and I'm still drinking coffee. This is not the same cup of coffee as the video I posted earlier. I actually had to make another one because I drank that one. But it is the same coffee. This is the best coffee I've ever had. Subscribers sent me 3 pounds of coffee, 3 different flavors from a person that roasted it near them. And yeah, best coffee I've ever had. I love it. Yeah, Full of Hope. There's the chance of rice having what they call rice weevils or small insects in your rice, and that's why they freeze it. And it's not necessarily the insects, but eggs from small insects. So they freeze the rice to kill off anything that might be in it. It also would kill any kind of bacteria, anything that's in it. So if you freeze your rice for about 48 hours before you put it in a bucket and then put it in your bucket, that's really why they do it. I haven't always done that because if you have enough oxygen absorbers in there and you have it in a Mylar bag, if there's no air in it, it's going to kill the bugs anyway. So yeah, and you really got to be careful getting rice from China. Really got to be careful. They put filler, from what I heard, in it that's not... I wouldn't freeze it in the Mylar bag because if you freeze it in the Mylar bag, it could create condensation in the Mylar bag. So what you really want to do is whatever container it came in, throw it in your freezer, leave it for a couple hours or a couple of days, not a couple hours. I usually do mine for about 48 hours in my deep freeze. Or if it's cold enough where you live, a lot of times I'll just leave the whatever it is I bought, rice or beans or whatever, I just leave it in my vehicle. I'll leave it out there for 48 hours if it's below freezing outside because that works just as well. I mean, if you have a shed or something, you can put it in, things like that. What do you mean about my live chat comments? I'm not sure what you mean on that, Homestead. Us. 4 days is a good amount of time. But yeah, you definitely have to let it get back to room temperature before you put it in the Mylar bag. Otherwise, condensation and the same things will happen then. Yeah, I've been using food grade buckets and just plastic wrap on top of it to seal my stuff. I haven't even been using Mylar bags lately because, I mean, Mylar bag is added protection really, but it's not necessary. It's not completely necessary. Yeah, I noticed the live chat on my last live stream video, the live chat didn't come up until like 2 days later. And I don't understand why, because I went back to it because I was hearing the same thing, that my live chat, you couldn't see it, and it's set to see it. I got it set that way. I really do. And Yeah, I don't know why you weren't seeing it. I mean, 2 days later I checked it and there it was. So that was weird. Oh, look, I'm getting texts from FedEx. Why is FedEx texting me? I don't have any packages out. It could be that YouTube's just blocking it, but 2 days later I seen the live chat comments from my last live stream pop up, and that was really weird. Every time I finish a live stream, it says the video's processing, so I'm really not sure what YouTube's doing with it before they allow it to be replayed, so it's really on their end, whatever's happening. So you're not really grumpy, you're just old. Grumpy Prepper's not really grumpy, he says. Well, that's false advertisement. Oh, yeah, topic of the day. If we have people I should talk. So the topic of the day was when starvation starts, right? Yeah, that's what I named it. When starvation starts. Now, I've covered this topic before. I really have. I covered it, yeah, I got to show that comment because that's funny. I don't know why it's blocking that particular comment from Sean, but yeah, I had to show that comment because I know that movie. That was a good movie. It really was. Oh, anyway, what I was talking about, before I get into the starvation, I was actually I was watching some news, and I just want to cover a couple of things. So, according to the FBI, there's been an open investigation for Hunter Biden since 2019, and it's still ongoing, and the investigation is for money laundering among other things, but money laundering stood out to most, so that's what I wrote down. And they're really now investigating whether Joe Biden actually knew about it or not, and there's a lot of evidence that says that Joe Biden did know that his son Hunter Biden was laundering money and doing deals with China and things like this, and this has been an ongoing investigation since 2019, and it's just amazing that it came out when it did, right? It was posted today on the news, so yeah, that's amazing, don't you think? Maybe there's something to when it came up, so yeah. Oh, you need another one of the "you might be a prepper" videos? Is that Wayne or Lynn I'm talking to, or is it both? Is it both of you? I'm trying to keep up with the comments. It's nice outside today and 62 degrees in Rapid City, South Dakota. How is Rapid City, South Dakota warmer than me? Good morning, Lynn. I say good morning because in Australia it's got to be about 9 a.m. Tell Wayne I said hi. And yeah, I love this hat. I really do. Thank you guys for this hat. If you guys haven't checked out Homestead Oz, please go do so. They're the reason I have this hat. Yeah, definitely. You got to check out their channel. Very great content over there. And I watch every video they post. I really do. I really, really do. I actually subscribe to them on 2 accounts just because. That's what we do. We support each other on YouTube. But yeah, what do you guys think about this Hunter Biden investigation popping up just right before the election? That the FBI has been investigating him for over a year. I mean, that's just, yeah. Oh, the Truth Warrior is in the house and cold. It's been snowing in northern Indiana today. Fortunately, it hasn't gotten as far south as I am, so that's awesome. Well, I hope your appointment goes well. Thanks for showing up. See you later. Bye. Right now it is, here, I'll check it on a device I have next to me. I'll tell you the current weather conditions, if this thing works. Currently it's 39 degrees. No, I'm wrong. It just updated. Currently it's 37 degrees, expected to get down to 25 degrees Fahrenheit tonight, so it's going to be nice and chilly. I should just put my rice and everything outside so it freezes for, yeah, it won't work because it'll, it won't stay freezing long enough during the day. All right, so I was in Walmart this morning. I got some of my preps. If you watched my earlier video, I got some of the preps from Walmart, the canned goods mostly, some of the water. Oh, no, it wasn't the water. That was from Kroger. Anyway, canned goods mostly from Walmart today. And just going off of Prepper Nation and how he put it was the long sticks that go boom, or the boom sticks as they call it, there were none left in my particular Walmart. They did still have the little things that go with the sticks, if you know what I mean. So yeah, they did still have a lot of those. And oddly enough, I mean, if they're really worried about rioting, it's not going to happen in the area I live in. It's not going to happen. They wouldn't make it there. It's not possible for that to happen. But if they're really worried about the rioting, why is it they still have all the cutting utensils, if you know what I mean, sitting in the same area right there that hunters and various people use for various things? Because those could be just as dangerous as the big sticks that go boom, right? Yeah, Truth Warrior, it's very hard to find here also. It's very hard to find. They had very little of it, but they did have some of it. And what they have is expensive. What I used to get was the 9mm target loads, and those things last year were $9 a box at Walmart. They are $30 a box right now. So the prices are going up, and they're really hard to find. So that's wow. Yeah. Yeah, I am seeing shortages. Every time I go into the canned good aisles at my local Walmart, I do see a lot of shortages. I'm seeing shortages on certain things, but I haven't seen shortages like everyone else is seeing, because I live basically in the middle of the farm belt. Well, not quite the middle, but I live in the farm belt, so we'll put it that way. And when you live in the farm belt, you're going to see less food shortages right away as the rest of the country. So if you live in some place like, Southern California, or, in New York City or things like that, you're going to see more shortages than you will in the Farm Belt right away, because this is where all the food comes from. So it's coming here first. And yeah, frankly, if food shortages happen really badly, people in the Farm Belt will probably have more abundance than people outside of the Farm Belt, if you know what I mean. So yeah, hard times ahead, because this is gonna be a grim topic here, talking about starvation, and when I get to that here in just a minute. But crime is going up in all the major cities. All the major cities have seen an increased crime rate, not just because of looting and riots and all this other stuff that people are doing, but just crime in general. And I believe it has a lot to do with, I'd say, food. I believe that people are starting to get desperate. I believe so, and that's why you're starting to see more crime. Now, the statistics from, you can't trust the statistics from the people who give them to you, the mainstream media and things like that. You can't trust anything they say. These are the kind of people that are filming, and I showed this in my video that got flagged for adult content. The mainstream media will stand there and film people looting. Film people, like standing right across the street and watching them loot a building, taking and stealing stuff out of there. And in the same sentence, they're saying violent protests. How is looting a violent protest? I mean, looting in particular isn't really violent to begin with. It's just outright theft. It's not violent, unless somebody tries to stop them. Then I suppose it could be. $24.99 for 50 rounds. Yep, it is ridiculous, because it was, like I said, last year $9 for the same 50 rounds. The prices are just ridiculous, and it's there's a lot of things that can be said about it, because we've seen similar prices and we've seen similar shortages back when Homeland Security, and I think it was 2018, was buying up all the stock. And why were they doing that, you wonder? Because they knew what was to come. It has to be. They knew what was to come. So Homeland Security bought a lot of ammunition, a lot of it. There is plenty of food still on the shelves at my local Walmart and my local Costco. Plenty of it, actually. I'd go in and make a video of it tomorrow if you'd like. But there is plenty of food. I haven't seen any real shortages. I've seen certain things that are really low stock, like just for instance, bread will go down. You'll see less options than normally, but they still have plenty of it in there. But like I said, that also has a lot to do with where I live, because where I live, there's an Aunt Millie's. Aunt Millie's is one of the major bread companies for I guess the eastern part of the United States. And there's an huge Aunt Millie's bakery really close to me. On the east side of Indianapolis, there's a huge Kroger bakery also. So Kroger, I think it's a bread bakery for Kroger also. There's milk processing facilities in my state. There's fresh produce processing facilities right next to us over in Ohio. In Dayton, Ohio, I used to run out of there all the time. Fresh produce back to Indiana, back to the Walmart distribution centers. We have, I believe, 3 or 4 Walmart distribution centers just in central and north central Indiana. And yeah, I used to run food into those places all the time back when I still had a job. So, yeah. So starvation, hard times ahead. So right now I'm going to go over some statistics. I wrote it down. Right now, and keep in mind where I got these stats from. These stats come from, Google and mainstream people, and some of these probably will be a little out of date, but most of them are actually from 2020, so yeah, most of them. Shalom, Loretta. Thank you for showing up and being here. I'm having some coffee, so yeah. See, I was at Costco on Friday, and they had pallets upon pallets upon pallets of every kind of paper product. Toilet paper, paper towel, everything you could think of. But again, wood processing is mainly done in the South. From my experience, most of the paper plants are in the South. Georgia Pacific being one of them. I used to travel in and out of these places as a truck driver all the time also. Texas all the way over to Georgia. They really do have Georgia Pacific in Georgia. They process a lot of wood in these areas because all the pine trees grow in the South, and pine trees is really, yeah, freedom pellets. I was trying to think of that word. Thank you, Truth Warrior, for freedom pellets. That's what Prepper Nation calls it, right? Freedom pellets. Hey, look, JT made it. I made JT a mod, too. And it's okay. I'm glad you showed up. Late is better than not at all, right? So I need to get 1,000 people in here for an hour, and then I can monetize this channel. As Alaska Prepper said, if you monetize your channel, it gets shared to more people. I didn't know that, so that's a good thing to know. It is. So, yeah. All right, so statistics, I've been trying to get to this in a minute. So I'm talking about starvation today, and let's just go over some stats. Like I said, take the stats with a grain of salt. I got them from Google. So right now, and this is probably not an accurate number because I don't think this is, but right now there's over 600,000 homeless people in the United States. 600,000. The unemployment rate is somewhere right around 12.6 million people. Right around 12.6 million unemployed in the United States right now. There are over 59 million people, almost 60 million people on welfare and receiving food help. And these are SNAP benefits. These are welfare food stamp type things. There are almost 60 million people that are either receiving food stamps or money, I guess. Money from welfare, because I do believe they have that kind of a program too. So 12.6 million unemployed, 600,000 homeless, and 59 million on welfare. The first thing that's going to happen when a major food shortage happens, and we're already seeing this with the food pantries and the food banks, because a lot of the people on welfare, if you know anything about welfare in the United States, the government run program that feeds people, right? This is government controlling the food and the money. That's all it is. And when they're feeding the people who can't, for whatever reason, get enough, they don't give them enough. I mean, a 4-person household in the United States for people on welfare with 2 adults and 3 children are only getting maybe $200 to $300 a month for this. Maybe. So the first thing that we're going to see when a major food shortage hits are people on welfare, people on unemployment. These people are going to run out of food very, very quickly because the average household has 3 days or less of food in their actual pantry. And when I say 3 days of food, that means we're counting the can of whatever beans or can of Vienna sausages that have been in the back of the cabinet for 7 years. Prepper Nation is in the house. What's up, John? I like this hat too. Man, you got to thank Homestead Oz. If you haven't checked out Homestead Oz's channel, they've got me this hat. They really did. This is made in Australia. Funny story about how they had to get me this hat, because they weren't allowed to ship anything out of Australia to me because of lockdowns. Australia is so locked down that they refuse to even ship hats out. And they told me that their local post office has huge piles and warehouses of outgoing packages that they can't send out of Australia because of the lockdown. And now I just read news today. I actually seen the video from the UK Prime Minister. They have forced the UK on lockdown as of, I think it was today. So UK has gone on forced lockdown just like Australia. How long until we see it? But like I was saying, welfare and unemployed. So between the 60 million on welfare and the 12.6 million on unemployment, you're talking 70, almost 100 million people here that are going to get really desperate really quickly. If these people are not preppers, and you got to remember that the vast majority of the United States are not preppers. The vast majority of people in the United States only have maybe 3 days worth of food in their pantry. Maybe. I know of people that don't have any. They don't cook. They don't even know how to cook. They eat out 2 meals a day and maybe have a couple of snacks in their house. These are people that I met. These are people that I know. I know ministers, pastors or whatever that I follow online that, they believe in so much. They believe in the faith. They have the faith that the Lord will provide. And they have no food in their house. They don't cook. They eat out twice a week or twice a day. I mean, Josh Connor in the house. Josh, I was going to make you a mod, but I couldn't do it until after you made comments in here because I can't click it, and I got to get your YouTube number thingy to do it, and I'll have to do it after the video. But I did intend to do that because, yeah, I seen you offer over at Alaska Preppers live stream a little while ago, and yeah, I thought it was a good idea. So, yeah. There are a lot more preppers now, and that's vastly thank you to NBC News, right? NBC News, the governor of North Carolina, not very long ago, they announced food shortages coming, so a lot more people are waking up. They are. I give you credit for that. But even then, the vast majority of people in the United States are still not prepared. The vast majority. So what happens when you have... we'll just take the smaller here. What happens when you have the 600,000 homeless no longer getting the funds they get? See, I drive through Indianapolis periodically, and every time I get off at a certain exit or several certain exits, the homeless people are standing there, and you can look under overpasses and see where they've set up their little shelters and stuff. So there's a lot more homeless people. I see a lot more than I ever have before standing on the side of the road with signs. I heard a story on one of the radio stations I listened to that there was a man who had been looking for a job. He'd been almost 6 months without work, and he just kept on looking for a job. He's applying everywhere, and he cannot get a job. And finally, he went out to the corner with a big cardboard sign and said, "Give me a job." And it was 2 days later, he got a job in construction. So, yeah, I have a Class A CDL, and I still haven't found a job. A Class A CDL. Now, my record isn't as clean as it used to be because of the accident that wasn't my fault, but still, I can't get a job. Class A CDL. It's sad. It really is, because I remember the days as a truck driver where it was job security. There's no way I could never have a job. I have a Class A CDL. I have a clean driving record. I get a job anywhere, anytime I want. I actually quit a job and told the guy that one time. Quick story. I was working at a trucking company, and it was based out of Georgia, actually, and I was running for home goods stores out of Indiana at their home goods distribution centers, and running into Ohio and places like that. And they hired a new manager that had never driven a truck, never worked for a trucking company, had no clue what he was doing. And he, was doing his, I'm the boss, I'm power hungry, blah, 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 blah. And he got up, talking to me because I was kind of like blowing him off because I have that kind of an attitude. And I'm like, whatever, dude, I got a Class A CDL. I don't need you. And he's, he gets that little power trip in my face, and I just went like that because I was like, now listen here, I have a Class A CDL, I have a clean driving record, I have more than 5 years experience, and I've quit jobs that pay more than this, and you can go blank yourself. And then that was the last time I worked there. And yeah, oops. But yeah, I mean, and that was several years before I ended up not working no more, so it didn't really affect me that much, because literally that was on Friday, and I was at orientation for a new job that Monday. That's how quickly I could get a job with a Class A CDL. It's not like that anymore. Now it's desperate for truck drivers. If you don't already have a job, yeah. Prepper Nation, John, I am, last time I checked it, which was this morning when somebody mentioned it, it was, I was at 3,100 hours, so I am about 900 hours. Why is your daughter in New York City? I agree that that's not a good place to be. But yeah, I'm about 900 hours away from monetization on my channel there. So I just need 1,000 people to hang out with me here for an hour. Or I just need 100 people to hang out with me here for 10 hours. I mean, either way, that would work, right? 100 people for 10 hours. Yeah, JT, you got a point there. Here, let me do it. I'm like logged in on my computer on my other account. Here, I'll say hi. There, that's me. I said hi. So I gave myself a thumbs up. That's awesome. All right, so where was I? I was talking about, I mean, did you guys hear the news about the UK Prime Minister and the forced lockdown they're doing over there? And if you haven't heard what's going on in Australia, they're not even allowed to post things on Facebook. Somebody post anything about lockdown on Facebook or something about a mask on Facebook in Australia, the police come to your house and arrest you. I posted this video. This video's a couple of weeks ago, but yeah, they arrested a pregnant woman for making a Facebook post. They arrested a news reporter just for reporting the news in a way they didn't like. I mean, this is getting to be insane in other places, and now the UK going on forced lockdown. It's getting to be insane, and people that actually comply, that's, it's not the fact that they want you to wear a mask, it's not the fact that they want you to be locked down, it's the compliance to it. Why are so many people just following right in line like little bitty, lemmings? If you don't know what lemmings are, I have that video too. But they're like lemmings. They just follow the guy in front of them. It's playing follow the leader, and the guy in front of them is the stupid, governor or president or senator or news reporter, and it's, for the most part, it's the news reporter, and these people are just following the news reporter right off the cliff. It's like, yeah, bye. I want to be the guy standing on the edge of the cliff just helping them on their way. Yeah, I'm just going to help them on off there. Get on out of here. We don't need you anyway. Starting with the news reporter, because, man, yeah, and we call it in truck driving pack mentality. We call it pack mentality in truck driving because you'll see it in cars when you're driving down the road. Now, this is dangerous. It's dangerous to ride close to people. But if you're ever driving in moderate traffic, you could even be driving in light traffic. You'll have a car that'll be doing 80 miles an hour. You're doing 70 miles an hour. He gets up next to you. He slows down to about 70. And then you're riding next to him. And you got to slow down and back off and let him go. And we see this in truck driving every single day. You see this on the road. If you drive a lot, you'll see it. Yeah. So Lemmings, I'll explain Lemmings really quickly. Lemmings was a video game from like early 90s. In today's standards, it would be like a little app, a little cheap app, but it was actually a computer game. And the Lemmings, really, there was a bunch of little guys, and you had to keep them from falling off the cliff, and they would always follow the leader. So the first one goes off the cliff, everyone behind him's going off the cliff too. And that's why I call everybody Lemmings, because that's what they act like. It really is pack mentality. It's crazy. I just can't understand people. I walked into Costco on Friday. I did. And I had a mask. I didn't have it on. I had it wrapped around my hand just in case this happens. I always bring it with me because I ain't going to let them stop me if I need to get some prep. So I walked into Costco, and this lady, it's the door greeter at Costco. You got to show them your Costco card, and they'll let you in. This lady's like, you need to put your mask on. And I was like, yeah, I got it on. It's on my hand, and I kept on walking. She chased me. She chased me down in Costco and said, you need to have that mask on. And I put the mask on. I put it right up underneath my chin like this, so it wasn't covering nothing but this down here. And I'm like, it's on. And I kept on going, and she walked away at that point. I don't know if she was calling her manager or whatever, but you know. And yeah, I pulled the mask off a couple minutes later. I ain't wearing a mask. It's just not happening. It's just not happening. All right, thank you for being here. Hey, what are you cooking for dinner? Because I'm hungry. I'm having chicken and potatoes and mixed vegetables. Yeah, it's grilled chicken, I think, or baked chicken. She baked chicken. Yeah, I'm having that. even if it's an N95 mask. Now, this comes from medical professionals, John. It really does. If it's an N95 mask, it works for about 15 minutes until the condensation builds up under it and it starts to get wet. Then it no longer works. So you got about 15 minutes if you're wearing an N95 mask. And an N95 mask is still not going to prevent a virus. The only way you can prevent a virus is if you have a full body suit. You got to cover your whole head. You got to cover your eyes. You got to cover your ears. You got to cover your nose. You can't be touching anything. You have to have a full body suit. You have to be wearing a hazmat suit to prevent a virus. Even an N95 mask is only going to help you for about 15 minutes, and it's not even going to fully help you. It's really not. So, yeah, they're going to require suits next. I was waiting for that, for everybody to be walking around. See, my wife works in a warehouse facility, and I won't go too much into that, but she had a couple of guys buy some hazmat suits, just being the JAs, that they are. They're like a bunch of little teenagers she works with, and they come in hazmat suits, full body hazmat suits, just to be, funny. They thought it was funny. I thought it was kind of funny too, but yeah, she didn't. So anyway, I'm trying to stay on topic here with the starvation, because I've covered this topic before. This was the very first video I ever put online, and I'm not going to say the name of that video because it would probably flag this as content, and yeah, it'd probably be just bad. So I'm not going to say the name of the video, but if you scroll down and look at my very first video, it's a very, very grim topic. It's a very grim video, as a matter of fact. So I'm going to ask everybody the question right now. We have 56 people in the chat, so I'm going to ask you all, what do you do when you have your preps, you're locked down, you're bugged in, you got your windows sealed, you're cooking on a little burner in the middle of the house, and there's kids in the street with the bloated stomachs and they're starving to death? What are you going to do? That's my question. What are you going to do when you see starving kids outside of your house? If you give them your food, you're taking away from your kid's mouth. Keep that in mind. If you give them your preps, then that's one less meal that your children have. So what are you going to do? Yeah, see, there you go. You're going to feed them. Help as long as it doesn't take away from my kids. Exactly. But what if it does start taking away from your kids and you're seeing, let's just say it's your neighbors. Let's say your neighbors aren't preppers and you don't know them very well, and their children, your kids play with their kids. They've been friends. They go to the same school or whatever, and you see your kids' friends standing out there and they're dying because they don't have food. And that's the biggest thing for preppers, is you can't just prep for your family. You have to prep for the unprepared that are around you. You have to. A lot of people are going to just do this. They're not going to look. They're not going to look out their windows, and they're just going to not. They're just not going to do anything. They're just, what do you do? If your own children, what if it's your last bucket of rice? If it's your last bucket of rice and you got 4 kids sitting around that bucket of rice and the starving kid from next door is knocking. We're going to see these times. We're going to see them. If you've read the last book in your Bible, this is going to happen. If you've read the first books in your Bible, the first 5 of them, this has happened repeatedly. This has happened so many times. Food shortages, very, very bad food shortages have happened throughout history. You can go as early as the Great Depression. Look how many people starved to death. Okay, so here's the next thing. So let's say, yes, you're giving the kids outside food. You're giving them food. So they go home and they tell mommy and daddy, hey, they have food. They gave it to me. So now you have a crowd of people standing outside of your house, probably armed, saying, we know you have food. That's what's going to happen when you start feeding the kids outside. That's what's going to, because they're going to tell somebody. They are. They will tell their mom, their dad, and their mom and their dad's going to tell their neighbor, and it's going to keep spiraling out of control until you have 50 people standing outside your house, all with big sticks, bats, and burning torches. And you know what? Yeah, pitchforks and torches are coming to your door because you got food and you're only shared with the kids. Yeah, exactly. If it comes to the point where you are having to give food to your neighbors, bug out is the next step. Bug out. Definitely the next step. So the starvation will come. I mean, if you've read the book, the starvation will come. If you follow science, I mean, it's only a matter of time, even according to science. All the religions agree. Science, I consider certain sciences as a religion. I mean, in my book, when it says false religions, it's not talking about Muslims and it's not talking about whichever, whatever. It's talking about people who believe in evolution, in my opinion. That's strictly my opinion. Evolution is a false religion because there's absolutely no proof. As a matter of fact, I can prove it doesn't exist. I can prove it doesn't exist just as easy as you can prove it does exist. Evolution, false religion, in my opinion. So yeah, I always say that, and that always loses me a couple subscribers. Oh well. Yeah, I mean, I say what I say. I can't shut up. I've tried to shut up before. It didn't work out for me. Exactly. And what is with all this? I hear it a lot about these Scientology people over in Hollywood. Some dude named Dave wrote a book, and now they all believe that he's their messiah or some crap like that. Well, I don't know nothing about it, but yeah, as far as I know, somebody named Dave wrote a book, and Dave was right or something like that. Scientology. I don't get it. But yeah, it's really something I think all preppers need to think about when it comes to starvation and when it comes to what's going to happen outside of your home. Even if you live in a rural area, you're going to eventually have people. I mean, you've watched The Walking Dead, right? They go everywhere. They go everywhere and they're scavenging and they're looking for things. Any prepper movie, any kind of into the world movie, there's always somebody going somewhere scavenging things. And right now we would call that looting, right? Marauders even. Franklin Horton books. Have you ever read the Franklin Horton books? And then there's the other one where it's, I forget the name of it. It's a female writer. I think it's, I can't remember her name for nothing. I'm going to have to look it up now. It's the What's Left of My World series, I believe. Marauders. And these books are very detailed. So if you're going to read any of these, expect any of these books. They're really good books. They really are. I really enjoyed them. They really make you think. They really do. And if you're going to read them, expect some vulgar things. Expect some very, very bad content. Because, and I believe it's the What's Left of My World series where the teenage daughter is the primary character. And she comes across marauders that were a biker gang. And they do bad things, and I'll just leave it at that because I can't say it on this channel. I can't. I probably could, but I'm not going to. So, yeah, Lauren, that's her name. Thank you, because it's been a while, and I got to get the newest book. So, when's the rapture? You're asking me when the rapture is? You're asking the wrong person when the rapture is. I don't know. It says in my book that no man will know. No man will know. No man will know of the return. Nope, not happening. Bucks Prepper UK. Hello from the UK. So I was just talking about the UK Prime Minister putting everybody on forced lockdowns. Do you have any thoughts on that from the UK? Or any insight, I guess I should say. Yeah, you know, I've read Revolution or Revelation. Why do I always say Revolution? I've read Revelation a couple of times, and I can't find anything about rapture in there. I really can't. I can find a whole lot about hard times. I can find a whole lot about judgment, and yeah, I can find a whole lot about when he comes back, his garments are red, covered in human blood, because he's not coming back happy. It's not going to be riding in on a cloud going, "Oh, give me a hug." No. Don't you think that's happening? He's got a sword in his hand, and I don't know you, off with your head. So you think like Alice in Wonderland, when he comes back, he's not going to be happy. Just keep that in mind. And that's what it says in my book. My book's right there. I'll show it to you again. Here, let me get my book. I got a couple of these books now. But, oh, that was loud. So, yeah, the scriptures, my favorite. I've never had something that enlightened me as much as this particular translation. Never have I had anything that made me see things. So, yeah, it's he's not going to be happy. Just put it that way. So back to the starvation topic. I mean, it's happened so many times before. If you read this book, it's happened in this book several times. There's several preppers in this book, several of them, not just one. I mean, we're talking famine. It's a repeating cycle. I heard, I think it was Bear Independent say it in one of his videos where he's reading the book. He actually says that, and if you can read it in here, if you read the history, and if you look at regular history, time is like a big hamster wheel. And we only see a very small spot of it because of how short our lifespans are. So we only see just a little bit of this giant hamster wheel that is time. And to us, it looks flat because we're only, right here in this giant thing that is constantly going in a circle and constantly repeating itself. Kids still going to school, but now teacher unions are kicking off and they want schools closed. I don't understand how you can lock people down and then let them go to school in the beginning. I mean, they did that here in the U.S. Okay, we're all locked down, but hey, let's go back to school where more germs are spread than anywhere else in the United States is at public school systems. Doesn't make no sense to me. Doesn't make no sense, but they have to brainwash the children. If the children are learning from home, they're not going to be able to brainwash them as easy. So we can't brainwash the children if they're learning from home, so we got to send them to school. Right? Right. Yeah, that's how that works. My kids are homeschooled. Yeah, the teachers in the United States are controlled by the government. See, I've known several teachers. I've had, people that were ex-in-laws and things like that. Not my ex-in-laws, but, Anyway, and they were teachers. And they are regulated by the government. There are certain things you can and cannot teach. If you say things that they don't want you to say as a teacher, you won't be a teacher anymore. And that is pure fact. And this dates all the way back to 1950s United States. You can find proof of this in the 1950s. You can read a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's in the first chapter. He talks about that. One of the dads, the poor dad, was the teacher. The rich dad was the entrepreneur that never finished school. And the rich one said that not finishing school was the best thing that ever happened to him. See, I went to public school system, and when I was in third grade, I had a teacher. No, it wasn't a teacher, it was the vice principal. See, me and a couple other kids, we were in the bathrooms, making ruckus and just messing around and knocking doors and stuff. And this teacher, or this vice principal came in there. I was in third grade, keep this in mind. I don't remember how old I was, like 9 or 10, something like that. This vice principal came in there, and he had an attitude. Well, I've always had an attitude. See, even in third grade, I've had an attitude. He told me this and that, and I told him where he could go shove it, and he grabbed me really roughly and slammed me against the wall. I had bruises all over me, and my dad about killed the dude. So, yeah, that's a story for you. Coffee. So, my experience in public school systems has been very bad since that day. Very bad since that day. I never wanted to go back to a school. I hated that place. And ever since then, I've always hated places that are even similar to that. And I refuse to send my children to a school. I refuse. It's nothing but a brainwashing area. That's all they do. Have you ever seen Pink Floyd The Wall? The little, we don't need an education, where the kids are walking through the big machine that turns them into whatever it's, yeah. And now they're doing it in several states. Several states, schools are actually, they're forcing all the kids to wear uniforms now. This is straight out of Nazi Germany. Straight out of Nazi Germany. This is where that started. There was no uniforms in schools anywhere in the world until right then, and now we're doing it in the United States. So I posted in the Grim Survival Facebook group on the page. I posted it in a couple of videos ago. I don't remember which video right now. There is a interview. It was an interview done by Aaron Russo. It's done by Alex Jones interviewing Aaron Russo. And do you remember Alex Jones? YouTube really wanted him to shut up, so they banned him. Yeah, he's still talking. I don't listen to him all that much, but this interview was conducted back in the early 2000s. Aaron Russo's no longer alive. This guy made a documentary called Freedom to Fascism. Watch the interview, and then if you feel, once you watch the interview, you'll want to watch this movie too. Aaron Russo produced a lot of movies. He produced a lot of movies. What's the one, Eddie Murphy and the one where they switch places, where Eddie Murphy becomes the rich guy and the other one's the poor guy. I can't remember the name of that movie. Anyway, he produced that movie, among others. So Aaron Russo will tell you that what the worst form of government is. Now, this form of government, and I posted this on, I think it was Prepper Nation's video earlier. The worst form of government is a government where 51% of the people can tell 49% of the people how to live their life and what to do. Trading places. Thank you. Thank you very much. So the worst form of government, founding fathers of the United States hated this form of government. Hated it. And it's the worst form of government there is. It's when 51% of the people can tell 49% of the people how to live their life and what to do. Does anybody know what this form of government is called? Anybody? I'll wait for you guys to answer. Does anybody know? Yeah, it is. It is basically mob rules. You would think it would be socialism, wouldn't you? Fascism, socialism, communism? No. Think about it now. 50 or 51% of the people is telling 49% of the people what to do. Ready for the answer? It's called democracy. Founding fathers hated this. This was the worst form of government to them. Why should 51% of the people be able to tell 49% of the people what to do? It's democracy. Why? In a constitutional republic, which is what the United States was founded as, in a constitutional republic, 99% of the people can't tell 1% of the people how to live and what to do. So yeah, Democrats, you can say Republican, but it's still all the same government. It really is. And they have reformed this government into a democracy. They have reformed it. They really have. They beat it into your children's head. And do you remember, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands. One nation, under God. Yeah, to the republic for which it stands. It doesn't stand that way anymore. It doesn't. And you're really right about that, Truth Warrior. It is really the 1%, it's the elitists that are now controlling everything and telling the other 99% what to do. That's basically a dictatorship now, and that's what it's come to. That is really what it's come to. The solution to government, there is no more solutions to the government. Full of hope, there is no more solution. We are such a divided people. We are so divided all over the world. There is nothing you can do. One side wants to overthrow the government because they don't like one president. The other side wants to overthrow the government because they don't like one president. They're so divided. The only thing that's going to fix this is an all-out civil war. That's what's going to happen if it continues down the spiraling path that it's on. It's going to happen. Just keep watching it. Eventually, these two groups are going to meet in the middle somewhere, and they're all armed now. They're all armed, every single one of them. It was always funny. The lefties, what they call the left-wing extremists, always were anti-firearm, anti-boomstick, right? Anti. They don't want them. They don't want you to have them. But now they all bought them. They all bought them. Why? Why'd they buy them? Because they don't like Trump. That's why they bought them. They don't. I like Trump a lot better than the other guy, but I still don't. The government itself, one man isn't going to break it because it's already broken. One man isn't going to fix it because it's already broken. One man can't do it. No, I don't care what his name is. He can't. It will take revolution. Exactly. Revolution. And the problem with revolution is one side's going to think they're right. The other side's going to think they're right. When they meet in the middle and start wiping each other out, the people over here, which is the government and the elitists, they're going to sit back like this and watch. And they're going to say, hey, look, they're wiping each other out. It's about time. We've been trying to get them to do this for years. About time they're wiping each other out. And they're going to watch. And when the dust settles, that's when Homeland Security is going to come in and clean up the mess. And that's when New World Order and dictatorship takes effect. Right there. Right there. That's when it will happen. I'm reading some comments now. I've been yapping. Okay, so a family of 5 now gets $807 a month. 5% increase. $800 a month for food stamps. I don't know. I'd have to look at my actual my budget to see. My wife keeps the budget, so I'd have to look at the budget to see, because we have 4 children and 2 adults, so we're 6, and I think 800 would make us be eating bologna and hot dogs for like every day. The cheapest things you can find for 800 a month, because I think our food bill is higher than that, and it keeps going up every week because of the insane prices. It goes up every single week. I mean, you can look at, if you eat bacon, look at your bacon. They went from 1 pound of bacon for a certain price, the same price, same packaging, less than 1 pound, and it keeps going down and down. So it's not just the prices are going up, the quantities are going down. So now they're increasing the prices of the lower quantities now. And it's going to fall apart. There is no other thing that could possibly happen at this point. There's nothing else that could happen. It is going to fall apart. Economists believe it. Scientists believe it. Religion believes it. It's going to fall apart. There's nothing else that can happen at this point. Nothing. And I firmly believe that the supposed virus was just used to blind people from what is really happening. And now they're using it again to force lockdowns. They want forced lockdowns. They've already done it in Chicago. I think they're doing it now in Philadelphia because of the riots. Or wait, no, it's the violent protests. That's what the news said. Violent protest. Violent protest. What's a violent protest? Look up the definition of violent protest. It's called a riot. Right? Violent protests. Ugh. These news media people are just their own. They're bought and paid for. All of them. Most of these senators are bought and paid for. A lot of your police officers are bought and paid for. They are. They are owned people. They are owned individuals. They really are. And when you think for yourself, they don't like you. They don't. I have seen this so many times. I have seen this throughout my entire life. When you have a mind of your own and you question everything, so many people will not like you. I've had my own family members disown me. This was probably 6-7 years ago. I made a Facebook post and I said, everyone is a slave to the dollar. And I didn't say it that way. I said it a little more rude than that, and I can't remember exactly how I said it, but I basically called everyone in the United States a slave. And I explained it in a manner of, if you don't have a little green piece of paper with some dead dude's face on it, if you don't have that, then you can't get food, because the vast majority of our country, the vast majority of the world now, cannot produce or self-sustain. So if you don't have the little green piece of paper, then you cannot get food. And if you don't go do a job for the little green piece of paper, even if it's a job you hate and despise, you won't get the little green piece of paper. Therefore, you won't be able to eat. Therefore, you and your children are starved. That's slavery. That is modern day slavery. It is. And they forced it that way. Because how do you control a population? Read The Art of War. You control their food, you control their water. That's the first steps. How do you control the food in the modern age? You force people not to be able to be self-sustaining. You force people on welfare. You force people to, rely on the government's food stamps and their SNAP benefits to get what they need. And then you increase the prices and you increase the prices. So even people who make, $65,000, $70,000 a year can't afford food anymore for their whole family because they've increased the prices and increased the prices. It's forced servitude. It's slavery. They are taking over. The New World Order is on its way in. We are going to see it within the next 5 to 10 years, in my personal opinion, probably sooner than that. New World Order. And this is what Aaron Russo, in that documentary, he talks a lot about New World Order, and he talks a lot about digital currency. And this interview was conducted like in 2003, 2005, somewhere in there. So this was before Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, and he's talking about it then. So the guy really knew what he was talking about. The interview's like 2 hours long, but it is worth the watch. I've watched it twice now because I watched it recently when I was posting it, and I watched it several years ago. And it's what started my conversation on Facebook of being slaves to dollars. So when I posted that on Facebook, I had aunts that were, my aunt, whatever you call her, the crazy lady that was related to my mother. These people went off on me. I'm not no slave. Well, okay, you're not a slave. Yeah, you're acting it. You're not a slave. You're not brainwashed either, are you? Yeah. So these people went off on me, and to this day they won't talk to me. Doesn't bother me none. I'm glad. I'm glad you won't talk. Go be locked down. Go lock yourself down. Put on your mask. You better wear it in your house too. In case you don't know, masks are causing permanent neurological damage. So yeah, if there's anybody you don't like, just tell them they better wear the mask. Prepared Texan. Oh, yeah. No, the $800 they were talking about is SNAP benefits, SNAP, and this is food stamps. These are the American welfare, government-provided food is what it is. The government gives you a little card, and they deposit the $800 on the card, and you can use it at certain places to buy food. Yeah, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Thank you. I didn't know what SNAP meant, but I knew it was something ridiculous like that. Supplemental Nutrition Assistance. That's a saying there. Supplemental nutritional assistance. People believe this. With SNAP benefits, you cannot buy anything nutritious at all. You can buy like Hostess cupcakes and gallons of milk to wash it down. I mean, that's about it. I mean, yeah. Militant Roots. I'm still here. Can you guys still hear me? Give me the number 1 if you can still hear me. Because I still see me. I gotta type. Okay, so one person can hear me. Just let them know to refresh. Because sometimes it happens. Because I still see it and I'm logged in on the computer with a different account to make sure it stays up. Something I would highly recommend. Prepper Nurse 1. Prepper Nurse 1 needs a second YouTube account so he can watch his own streams, because that's what I'm doing on the other screen here, so I can make sure it's not going offline. Man, what was it? It was about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, his live stream, he did 8 takes. YouTube censoring. It's bad with YouTube censoring. It really is. It really is bad. So starvation. So I posed a question about, what if the children are starving outside of your house? But what happens to us as preppers when we've been locked down for so long in our preps? What happens to us people that have just started prepping when you only have 3 months of supply in your house, and after 3 months, you don't have any way to grow food, you don't have any seeds, and you're now out of food? What are you going to do then? What do they do? These are people that are, they were prepared, so they have a limited supply of food. They probably have a limited supply of ammunition too. So when people get desperate, no matter who you are, if you've never experienced true hunger, I have. If you've never experienced true hunger, things you wouldn't ever eat in your life look good and taste good to you. What happens when your neighbor starts looking good? You want to know what that tastes like? I mean, people are going to become desperate. It says it in the book. It says it. It says it. People will become desperate. People will do atrocities, to say the least. People will do bad things. Very bad things. The morality of any given time, the morality goes up and down. And morality is based on how much supplies that an individual group of people have. So you've heard it said that, the larger a crowd, I've heard it said, I don't know if you've heard it said, but the larger a crowd, the lower the IQ. That is true. That is so true. The bigger number of people you get around, the dumber they get. Because it only takes one person to pop off and start doing something stupid, and everybody else says, hey, that looks like fun. Let's go do something stupid too. Lemmings, they're all walking right off the cliff. There they go, right off the cliff, all the lemmings. So, yeah, the morality of any given situation is dependent on the level of supplies. Just look at any war. History is written by the victors, but look at any war. The lower the supplies the troops had, the worst they did. Look at Vietnam. Vietnam is a prime example. The United States had so much trouble getting supplies and getting things in there because it went a lot longer than they thought it was going to go. So near the end of this war, it was a supply chain issue. They were having issues getting supplies to the troops because of how long this had gone out. And then look at what the United States soldiers started doing to the people. They were dropping napalm on people for no apparent reason. They were looting villages. Okay, history is written by the victor. Yeah, they were looting. The United States military was looting. Keep that in mind. So what happens when you have a group of soldiers that are stationed down the road and they start running out of supplies and they smell some rice cooking? It's coming from your house. I mean, do not fight a battle you cannot win. Do not engage into combat if you know you cannot win. Your best bet is to bug out. This is why we prepare to be bugging out. One awesome thing I would love to have that I don't currently have is a bug out trailer. A small little box trailer, enclosed trailer, put some mud tires on that thing, load your preps into it. Or keep your preps in big plastic totes, 5-gallon buckets that you can throw into that trailer and go. Because you want to be able to take as much as you can with you. On the second, also with that, if you're going to do that, you need a lot of extra gasoline. Pulling more weight behind your vehicle will drain your gas tank a lot faster than what you think it will. If you're used to going, 400 miles on a tank, you have a loaded down trailer behind you, you're not going 400 miles on a tank. You're going 200 miles on a tank at best. So, also, of course, this is going to depend on your vehicle. But, yeah. Yeah, Chicago has done that too, Sean. They have locked down everybody in Chicago. They're telling people what they can and can't do in their own houses in Chicago. The mayor of Chicago has told everybody that you can't have a certain amount of people in your home. And they've been doing that in Australia already for almost a whole year now. I mean, the last I heard that people in Australia were not allowed out of their house but 1 hour a day. And yeah, they just forced lockdown the UK too, from what the Prime Minister was saying in that video I watched a little earlier today. Yeah, I can believe they cancel holidays because, certain holidays don't make them any money. They won't cancel Thanksgiving. They won't cancel Christmas because that makes them money. They won't cancel Black Friday. They're already talking about Black Friday. It's all online now. Black Friday from home. Don't leave your house. Just buy it online. You know what I'd like to see for Black Friday? I'd like to see Black Friday at Kroger. I want to see a Black Friday special at Kroger. 50 pounds of rice, half off. That's my Black Friday deals right there. I'll go wait in line for that, right? Half off 50 pounds of rice. Why not? Yep. If you don't leave your home, you can't make any money. If you can't make any money, then you can't buy food. It's slavery. It is slavery. Yeah, Costco. Costco would be a good place to have Black Friday. Costco does have Black Friday deals, though, but it's mostly on their electronics and things like that. It's not for their food. Costco carries a lot of electronics. They have a whole big electronics section, TVs and phones and computers and all kinds of stuff. They have office equipment, office supplies. They have chairs like this squeaky one I'm sitting in. I didn't get this from Costco. I don't even remember. I think I bought it on Amazon. This chair has got duct tape on it. It's so old. But yeah, lockdowns are incoming. They're already locking down major cities because they claim Corona, COVID, whatever they call the stupid thing now. That's what they're claiming. Nope, I do not own any silver. I think I have like a little bag of some old dimes, maybe about 10 of them in there. That's as much silver as I have. So I don't have any precious metals. I have a lot of copper. It's in my computer, and it's in every wire that's attached to my computer, and it's in every charge cord I have in my house. And I think copper is going to be just as valuable as silver at some point. The price of copper goes up all the time because of the electronics they use it for. So copper is a conductive material. You need copper to make generators. You need copper to make, power power solutions. You need it for solar panels. You need it for batteries. So, yeah, copper. Copper is a good thing to get into. Lead's too heavy. You need it for making certain things, right? Little freedom pellets. That's what John at Prepper Nation calls them, freedom pellets. You need that lead, right? Good old musket. See, what's the point in having a bunch of lead if you don't know how to make powder? Do you know how to make powder? Freedom lead. There you go. Yep, brass, copper. Silver, I mean, I agree with Alaska Prepper on a lot of things, but I don't really agree with him on the silver, because I don't think in a short-term situation and in a massive long-term food shortage situation, is somebody going to take your old dimes and your old silver for a loaf of bread? I don't think so. I don't think so, not even. I think they would be more likely to take lead, to be honest with you, because you can make freedom pellets out of lead. So, yeah. Yeah, and gold has shown value throughout history. Not to me. I don't want gold. I'd rather have food. I'd rather have, 500 pounds of rice than 500 pounds of gold, because I can't eat the gold. Well, I guess you can eat gold. There are people that eat gold, right? Over in those rich countries, over, what is it, the United Arab Emirates or whatever, they have like gold flake on their food. Yeah, I'm not eating gold either. I'm really not. An ounce of silver in Venezuela bought months of food. Yeah, but they still had food to sell them, because they had an abundance of food to sell them. Somebody had it, so they took the silver, and they were expecting the food to come back, so they took the silver. See, if you're expecting things to recover, then yeah, your precious metals are going to stay valuable. If you're expecting, this whole COVID thing to go away by this time next year, then yeah, your masks are going to be not as valuable, but your silver is going to. But if a prolonged situation, if we're talking about 7 years of food shortage, like it talks about in my book here, 7 years of food shortage, by year 3 or 4, nobody's going to take your silver for food. It's not going to happen. I guarantee you, it's not going to happen. Well, I mean, why would it? Why would they want metal for food if there's been a prolonged food shortage for 3 to 5 years? Why would you take metal for food? I mean, you might be able to trade something like gasoline for food, something usable for food, but what can you use silver for other than buying things? It has no practical value. Like a bag of rice would have practical value. You take a little Ziploc bag and you have it full of rice, you could trade it for some freedom pellets, I bet you. You could do just a little sandwich bag full of rice. That's money right there. A sandwich bag full of rice is a barter item. So, yeah. And a lot of people stock alcohol for barter, or for, when times are desperate, I guess. If you're starving to death, it's better to do it with your alcohol, right? I know people that are stockpiling drugs, not the legal kind. I know people in bad areas, so I'll just leave that there. And they think that that's what they need for the end times. That if they get locked down, they want to be as high as a kite the whole time. Not me. I'm going to be on alert. Grain alcohol, having a distiller to be able to distill your own stuff, your own water, and make your own alcohol. Yeah. Coffee is a good prep. I still have this thing sitting here. This is my manual coffee grinder. I showed this in my video earlier. I used to carry this thing in my semi truck. This thing's been to more states than most people, I'll tell you that. Yeah, this thing has traveled more miles than most people. So this is my manual coffee grinder. I posted a link to this on my last video. That was I found one that was about the same size. It was only like $17 on Amazon. So manual coffee grinder. This thing will grind more than just coffee too. You could put some wheat berries in there. You could make flour. You could put more than just coffee in this thing to grind it. This is a hand crank grinder. So yeah, it's very valuable. If you had 3 or 4 of those, do you imagine what you could trade them for? Hey, you can grind rice. I don't know how to make rice flour, but I assume it requires a lot of grinding. You can grind a lot of things in that, not just coffee. My wife knew somebody who supposedly had a confirmed case of COVID at her job. And he said, after the 14 days he was quarantined, that he's had flu symptoms worse than that. If it is real, yeah, if it is real, it's not nearly as bad as they claim it is, if it is real. And I'm questioning how valid it really is at this point, because I've seen so many things about it, and so many things. And even when the doctor says confirmed case, doctors are bought and paid for. They are bought and paid for. The doctors that try to speak out on Facebook and Twitter, they're being blocked. They're not allowed to speak out. They're losing their practices. There's been people disappear for trying to speak out. I mean, yeah, they've disappeared just as fast as Hillary's emails. Yeah. Yeah. See, I didn't know that. And cannabis plants are actually going to be a barter item. Cannabis itself is going to be a barter item in an SHTF situation. Think about the benefits that it has. It has medical benefits. It really does. And there is proof that cannabis can shrink tumors. Proof. Medical proof that it can shrink cancerous tumors. Proof. I can show you the proof. So a barter item in an SHTF situation, prolonged food shortage. Think about people that are eating things they don't like. Think about when they're down to their cans of cat food in their cupboard and they're about to eat the cat food. Now, if you're about to eat the cat food, if you had a little bit of cannabis before you eat the cat food's going to look and taste a lot better, I guarantee you. So it's going to be a barter item. I guarantee you it will be. It has been throughout history. It's been barter item. Look at the Native Americans. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I don't do that anymore, Eric. I used to. I will admit it right here on YouTube. I used to, but I had a problem with it because, believe it or not, it is addicting. And I'm first-hand proof of that. I had to not do that no more because it made me lazy and stupid. It really did. And it affects different people in different ways. But for me, it made me lazy. Very lazy. I didn't care about nothing but playing video games. Yeah, quite true. I spent a lot of money on video games back then, too. Yeah, Full of Hope, the trailer for Songbird. I watched that trailer after you mentioned it in Alaska Preppers live stream. That's an interesting looking movie. I'm going to watch it. It is a scary looking movie with the predictions. It's predicting COVID-23. Yeah. COVID-23. And basically from what I see in the trailer is there's people talking back and forth through text and things like that, and then the military's busting in and raiding them, and yeah, it's not going to be, it's going to be something, it's going to be interesting to watch, but yeah. Yeah, Bill Gates. Why does the founder of Microsoft want so badly to vaccinate people? Why? He so badly wants everybody vaccinated. What kind of microchips is this guy putting in your vaccinations? You know, the free flu vaccine every year. It's free. Go and get it. Get it here for free. No wait times. It's free because Bill Gates made it free. He paid for it. That's why it's free. When have they ever given you any kind of medication for free? When? In the history of the United States, when have you ever gotten any medication for free? So when they're trying to give you free shots, does that not make the wheels start spinning in there? Does it not wake anybody up like, hey, I wonder why they're giving me something for free? I mean, nobody considers that they've never once... Medication in the United States is some of the most expensive crap on the planet. You can go to Canada and get it, 1% of the price that you pay here. 1%. You pay $10 in Canada, you're paying $1,000 in the United States for the exact same thing. And they're giving it away for free. Why do they want to give it to you for free? Why? Question everything, people. Question everything. They're giving it away for free. They got microchips in it. It's a proven fact that they're putting microchips. And it says it in that documentary with Aaron Russo. He's talking about it. He talks about New World Order wanting to put microchips in your hands, RFID tracking chips in your hands. Bill Gates has invented that for you. Yep. Bill Gates wants to purify the gene pool. I agree. I agree that he does. And there's so much proof of what's in our food now that's making people sterile, making people not be able to give birth or have children because of what's in our food supply, what's in our water supply. There is proof of this. Unequivocal, absolutely unquestionable proof of this. Yep. See, a lot of countries are accepting stupid chips. A lot of people in the United States have chips they don't know about. Don't get a vaccine. It's a proven fact. Flu vaccines kill more people than the flu ever has. You can look at the statistics. It's a proven fact. It's insane. It's insane, the compliance to what is happening, that people just walk right off the cliff. I mean, it's just insanity. And the problem with, and they're already doing it to preppers. They're already doing it to people like us, that they're calling us hoarders now. NBC News, when they posted, it was John from Prepper Nation was talking about it just a couple of days ago. NBC News did a little article. I watched it. It was actually on TV. They did the thing on TV that said that, there's food shortages coming. You're still going to be able to get in certain things. It's just not going to be the things you're used to. That's what they said. Yeah, it's going to be cat food. And don't be hoarding. They called us a bunch of hoarders. They said, basically, they didn't say it outright, but they were insinuating that preppers are hoarders. I'm not a hoarder. I just don't want to starve to death. I want to watch my kids starve to death. I'm not a hoarder. But yeah, Songbird. And there's a lot of controversy now when you look up that movie Songbird, that a lot of people are saying that it's just an exploitation of what's been happening in the world right now. Well, yeah, of course it is. What do you think Hollywood's been doing since the founding of Hollywood and the movie industry itself? Exploiting not only people, but, I mean, the kinds of sick things these people do, I can't even repeat on this channel. I can't. The sick things. And we're talking about human sacrifice, among other things. And I'll just leave it right there. This is what the Hollywood elitists do. These are what the people do. Have you ever seen, I don't remember, I've seen it in a movie a long time ago where some crazy dude is hunting some person, right? It's a game to them. They make a person run and they go out and they hunt them. These people do this for real. Where do you think they get the ideas for these movies? I mean, this is real life, what these people do. It is psychotic. It's psychotic, evil behavior. And don't get me started on abortion right now. Psychotic. It's psychotic, evil behavior. And it just irritates me. It irritates me so much that people just are so blind and just when you tell them the truth, when you just like my family members, when I called them a bunch of slaves, when you tell them the truth, they get so angry to hear it. They get so angry. Why are you so angry to hear the truth? I don't understand it. I don't. Even the Hunger Games is similar too, right? Where they're actually hunting each other for resources or supplies or something. I seen the first movie. I didn't really care for it. That was a long time ago. But yeah, there's been a lot of different movies that depict similar scenarios of people hunting each other. I mean, why? Why do they keep making movies about it? Because they're actually doing it. They're like, hey, this will be a good movie. Normalcy bias, yeah. Yeah, you see that in a lot of churches, normalcy bias. One of the leaders of the Jewish church out of Israel was promoting LGBTQ because men shouldn't be alone, because that passage is in the Bible. Men shouldn't be alone. It's bad for men to be alone. So he was promoting LGBTQ. He said it's good for his priest in the Jewish community to not be alone. So if they choose to go that alternate lifestyle, that's okay. Normalcy bias. When religions start complying to, when any religion starts complying to the mainstream, the consensus of the people, they're forsaking and they're going against their religion because of what the people are doing around them. It's peer pressure. It's a good old peer pressure. If everybody else is smoking pot, then we should smoke pot too. It's peer pressure. When a religion forsakes its own teachings to go, with the crowd of people, then it's no longer a religion anymore, especially not one you should follow, because they've gone against their own beliefs. If you go against your own beliefs, then, how can you trust somebody like that? How can you trust a pastor when he says that it's okay to do that? Yeah, Kool-Aid. They're drinking the Kool-Aid. Yep, that's a good one, Vicky. We say that a lot in the prepper community, that they drink the Kool-Aid. I want to know what flavor the Kool-Aid is. Everybody always says they're drinking the Kool-Aid, but I've never figured it out. See, I liked green Kool-Aid as a kid. I like the green one better. I don't think that's an actual flavor. It's just, Kool-Aid isn't actually flavors. It's just colors. You don't have a flavor of Kool-Aid. It's just the color. So is it red, green, or orange? My dad always liked the orange. I like the green. I used to drink a lot of Kool-Aid as a kid. It's probably what made me so uppity. I don't know. Now I drink a lot of coffee. Wow. I've been running this stream for 79 minutes. I didn't even realize it. I could just keep on talking about this all day. Do you guys want me to stay a little while longer? I can probably go in there 10, 15 minutes. It's up to you guys, though. If anybody's getting sick of me, let me know. Yeah, there's several movies. Colorado Prepper Pack Rat. That's so much to say. I can't say it very easily. There's so many movies that depict people hunting each other. Exactly, Loretta. Exactly. There are passages strictly forbidding certain things in the book. There are passages. Sodom and Gomorrah comes to mind. Yeah, so when is Sodom and Gomorrah coming up in your church? That's what I would ask them. Have they talked about that? What do you think was happening there? Has anybody read the story of Sodom and Gomorrah? Let me give you a brief summary. See, Lot was sitting, a dude named Lot, L-O-T, he was sitting outside of the city. I forget which one it was, either Sodom or Gomorrah. And Lot was sitting there going, no, please don't come in and kill everybody. And two messengers of God, which is believed to be angels, and what, the modern day consensus of what an angel is, came into the city because they were going to wipe it out, or whatever they were going to do. And Lot said, no, don't go into the city square and wipe everybody out. Please come into my house. So, yeah, Lot took the two messengers of God into his house. And after Lot took the two messengers of God into his house, now it doesn't say whether these messengers were male or female, but a crowd of people showed up outside of Lot's door and tried to bang down his door and wanted the two messengers of God to come out so they could know them. Now, if you've ever read the book, what it means to know somebody, you get it, right? You get it. So this is Sodom and Gomorrah. They wanted to know the angels. What do you think happened next? Anybody know what happened next? We wanted to know the angels. People are just, it's just throughout history. It's one stupidity. It's a group of people that just follow the pack of other people. And this is what so many people just do. So many people do it. Yep, Mad Max movie that happened in 2021. Or yeah, Mad Max was a decent movie if you've seen the original one. It definitely depicts humans. Humans are a very Lot did that too. He said, no, don't take the messengers of God. Take my two virgin daughters instead. That's how faithful he was. He ain't taking my daughters. See, no, you. No. See, this is why we are armed. When the crowd of people comes out front of your house because they're starving or desperate or they're marauders and they want your virgin daughters, what are you giving them? Because I'm giving them about 15 to 20 to a couple hundred of my little friends, little 9mm and 22 and any other sized friend I happen to have. That's what they're getting right through the door too, because I don't need that door that much. Doors are a false sense of protection. Exactly. We're gonna see who's knowing who if you come looking for my daughters outside of my door. I'll tell you what, somebody's gonna get known. Yeah. Postman was a good movie. Has anybody seen The Road? Yep. The messengers blinded them. They struck a blindness on them outside the door, and then they had to drag Lot back in because they were about to know Lot. They were going to beat him to death, and they had to drag him back in because, yeah. It's a very good story, Sodom and Gomorrah. It is. Even if you don't believe in the book, you should still read some of these stories. You should, because they are good stories. They really are. I don't really know where the word comes from. I don't. And it's Sodom and Gomorrah is actually not even the actual names. The translations is like Sodom and Amorah, if I read it correctly last time I was reading it, which wasn't that long ago, actually. Oh, the word sodomy. Yeah, exactly. I read that wrong. Full of Hope, I have no clue what you said. Do I got to scroll up and read something? Because that, yeah, I'm looking. I'm scrolling up over here. I haven't watched TV in a long time. A long time. I watched old movies a long time ago. The Road was... there was a movie I watched not too long ago. It was John Goodman. I can't remember the name of the movie, but John Goodman snatches this girl and he's got her in a bunker. And the whole movie, I'm not going to give away the movie because I don't even remember the name of it anyway, but the whole movie, you think one thing is happening. You think the guy's a nut job prepper because that's what they depict him as a nut job prepper in a bunker. And the whole movie, and then the ending of the movie just is like, it's completely different than what you expected. Just put it that way. And I still can't remember the name of the movie, but look up John Goodman bunker in a bunker movie or something like that. It's kind of long, and yeah, Cloverfield Lane, that is it. Thank you, Prepared Texan. Cloverfield Lane is the name of that movie. The ending of that movie was just, I started to fast forward through it because it was getting kind of boring to me. It was like drawn out. It was way too drawn out. But by the end of it, I was like, no. It was pretty good. So, yeah, every now and then when you're on lockdown or you're bored to death, it helps to distract yourself with something. I've been distracting myself with a lot of reading lately. A lot of reading. I really have. My viewpoint has changed so much since I got this particular book. So, I am now in a position to where I was hearing this the other day. I was listening to somebody teach this the other day, that three main religions, Christianity, Judaism, and Muslim, are all based on Abraham. They all start basically with Abraham, these religions. Even Muslims, their religion goes back to Abraham, and actually it splits off from there. And all three of these religions are wrong. Yeah, including Christianity. So I'm in a position right now because I'm following Torah, but I still believe in Yeshua as the Messiah, that Christians think I'm wrong because of the Torah. The Jews think I'm wrong because of the Messiah. And who cares what the Muslims think anyway? Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to give it about 5 more minutes here. I'm almost to the hour-and-a-half mark, and I really do have to use the bathroom at some point. I've been drinking too much coffee. And, yeah, the topic of starvation has really gone. You know how these topics go in the videos. Have you ever watched Alaska Prepper try to stay on topic? Then Victor sits next to him, and the topic goes right out the window. And, yeah, Matthew 10:16. Yep, exactly. But here, I'll give you another one that's more important than, I think it might even be the same one. Where is it? Sorry, Matthew 7:21. Look up Matthew 7:21. Caffeine kidneys. Hopefully not. I had blood work done the other day. I'm waiting for the results. Prepper Nurse 1 is worse at keeping topics. I give you that. And he's going live here in about 30 minutes. So at 8 p.m. Eastern time, Prepper Nurse 1. So I definitely got to end before them because he goes live and I'll have nobody in here, right? Well, I'll be over watching him. I'll even be over there watching him. The Road was good. The Road was good. It's still kind of drawn out. What's that movie with Denzel Washington where he's carrying the Bible across the country? I forget the name of that one too. Yeah, I watch prepper movies. I mean, we're preppers. Well, I also read prepper books, and I really highly recommend the What's Left of My World series. And I also Franklin Horton. I can't remember the name of his book series. Book of Eli. Thank you. That was that movie. Book of Eli. Yeah, that was a good movie. I like that. I like Cloverfield. Cloverfield Lane is the one with John Goodman in the bunker. If you guys haven't seen that, check that out. Definitely have to check that out. I'm not going to spoil it, but the ending of that movie just was like, wow. I was not expecting that at all. At all. Yep, I'll be over at Prepper Nurse 1 what is it, the 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 5th takes. I usually, by about the 4th take of Prepper Nurse 1, I'm like, it's bedtime. But I don't know, I've been drinking a lot of coffee tonight. I did not sleep well the last couple of days. But yeah, the Book of Eli, I only seen that movie once a very long time ago. But I really did like that movie. I don't claim any religion also, especially not Christianity. Loretta, I do not claim Christianity. Christianity has destroyed more faithful people than anything else in history, in my personal opinion. Christianity has, the devil himself couldn't have done as good a job as those people have done. Right, yeah. Nope, I'm not giving away the endings. I'm not. It's just, yeah, the endings are really, yeah. Yeah, my caffeine kidneys probably are hyperactive right about now. Probably. This is only my 3rd cup. Let's see, I started with a cup of coffee from a place I had to go and get coffee because I wasn't at home at 6 a.m. I wasn't. I usually get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, between 5 and 6, and I'm off and doing stuff. Yeah, it's hard to stop and make a video sometimes because I'm trying to do more than I am capable of doing in some particular instances. Victor, yeah, I really need to get Victor just over here for about 5 minutes. I really do. Yeah, I stopped watching TV a long time ago. There's nothing good on it. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go to Prepared Texan. Good night. Thank you for coming. Thank everybody for coming. It's an hour and a half into this, so I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. Prepper Nurse 1 is going to be live in about a half an hour, and I'm going to try to be over there. I'll probably be typing pretty fast because I'm still about halfway in this coffee. But thank you guys. Thank everybody for coming on. Look, I got 62 likes on it. Ooh, look, I got 3 dislikes too. Must have been when I was talking about abortion. But yeah, guys, Matthew 7:21. Highly recommend that passage. All right, everybody. This is James. This has been Grim Survival. Yeah, Prepper Nurse 1 live in 30 minutes. I just got the notification for it. We was talking about European lockdowns. Hey, I already talked about that. All right, good night, everybody. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. And yeah, the Book of Eli is with Denzel. That is a great movie. JT, thank you for being a mod, JT. I hope you do good. Don't be like Victor and ban everybody from my channel. All right, I'll see you guys later. Have a good night.